Good morning, everyone. In today class, we are going to learn about the generics. So, I'm hopeful that most of you have been used this generics in your day-to-day programming. Okay, so I've tried to complete as much as possible in the generics and apart from the concepts, we will see some practical example also. Okay, where we can use it. Okay, this generics concept. So let's start. The first things in agenda, we'll understand that why generics and why generics came into the picture. Okay. The second thing we are going to understand that using generics how you can create a reusable classes and methods even interfaces. Then this is a one wildcard characters wildcard we are going to understand, and this is a I think bit tricky that and because of this only and this when we pass this question mark extends t into the methods any methods as a parameters, then what does it means? Okay, same question mark the super and type of t when we pass in any methods, then what does it mean? So that only just trying to make you understand that what does it actually mean, and practically also we'll see that okay, how can we implement it. So let's start it. Okay, so first thing is why generics here. Okay, so the first things we'll understand that generics ensure the type safety. Type safety in the sense in very initially only we know that what is the type of the data types we are going to use. Okay, at the compile time only we are aware actually. Okay, so there is no surprises at a runtime. Okay, that casting exception is exception is coming, or okay, and not format exception number format means any not compatible and any formatting exception is coming, so all those things we can avoid. Okay, the second things is a typecasting. All are correlated actually. If you see, the second thing is the typecasting is not required. So earlier if you see before generics we used to have a some collection classes like we have a list, and which what it does, those lists in the rights those, and they will store object actually. Okay, and in objects definitely all the data types their parent class is system data object, so we can store each and every primitive data types. Okay, all the strings, integers, doubles, floats, everything as an object into that array list. And then what will happens when we are retrieving those elements, we need to do the boxing and unboxing, or okay, and typecasting we need to do. And this boxing and unboxing is very they hit the performance. Okay, and sometimes it's cause exception also, because when you are assigning your intention is to store integer and you have stored a string, and when you are doing the typecasting, right, that time exceptions will throw. So we can so this generics will ensure such type of accidental you are not storing, we are knowing actually, you are aware actually what type of data types, what is the type we are storing into our collection. So that is all about the typecasting. Okay, means unnecessary typecasting we are ignoring. The third the main use of generics is we can create classes or method in such a way that it will be reusable. Otherwise generally and each based on different data types and the types we are passing, right, we are supposed to create a different type of methods, classes and interfaces as well, right? Okay, or multiple method. Here if we are using a generics we can avoid such things. Okay, the fourth important thing is a compile time safety. So what does it mean actually? This means that at compile time only if by mistake if we are adding any wrong types into our generics collections, then it will throw a compile time error. Okay, and that time that moment only we can fix it. Okay, So that's a benefit of, right? So at the compile time only we know that's what at all mistakes we are doing and we can fix it, instead of things are coming at a runtime execution time, right? We don't know what time it will come. So those things we can ensure using a Genrex. Okay, so all four concepts. Now we'll go to the practical example. Okay, and I will tell you that how this four concept has been implemented here. Okay, so let me stop this this PPT and we'll go to the practical example. Okay, so this is a one. This is a one just I've created one class, that is a basic generics I've created. So here what I'm doing, I'm trying to tell you that what is a type safety, what does it mean actually in generics concepts. Okay, here you can see this is array list and it can hold any type of objects. So when you can see here it can hold an integer, here it can hold a string type. Okay, so there is no type safety here. Okay, but with generics what happen, it ensures the type safety means if I have declared list of integers, it ensures that we can only stores the integer type of data types in this list one. If I am declaring this list of 2 as a string, okay, we can only store a string, and if we store any other, okay, so it will throw a compile time error. So I think that the third point what I have told you, right? So that so here I think it's clear what do you mean by type safety means. Very beginning only we declare the what types we are passing into this, okay, into our this collection. Okay, so this is what about the type safety. Okay, now second point was unnecessary typecasting we are doing. Okay, so earlier as I have told you that we are using some list which will hold any type of object, and while retrieving we need to do the typecasting, and this is a boxing. Unboxing is only overhead. Luckily here we use a string only. Sometimes maybe it is a string and here it is we are storing the integer, then the for number format exceptions we cannot store, right, a string into integer space, right? So this typecasting was sometimes it will create a trouble also, where you will face that runtime exception. Okay, so here the generics avoid this unnecessary typecasting. Okay, now after generics we don't need to typecast this. Okay, what it does, what we know that it is a string type of, okay, and directly we can fetch it, list of 1 get 0, and we can store that value into this variable. Okay, so it will prevent from the unnecessary typecasting as well. Okay, so now performance is improving. Okay, now it is checked at compiled. Now we are going to understand that the generics types, right, it will be checked at the compile time. So see this example, right, here I have declared this list as a string type, so you cannot apart from the string it cannot store any other data types. Okay, but here what we are trying to store an integer also. Now see what will happen, it will show a compile error, right, that we cannot store. Okay, so this is what it means. Okay, so these are the very simple. Okay, now the next things we are going to understand about the what is the generic classes and methods. Okay, so here you can see I have created one generic classes. See, this is a way to declare the generic classes, the type of T. Okay, T is can be any type, and here generally if you declare any states of the class, we generally define private of a string or integer or anything, but here I am only declaring the T. Okay, and here if you see this method is also generic type of methods. I am not passing in any specific data type here, that is also a T. Okay, so I am just adding all the so what this method is, it is just adding. Okay, and the second method it is we are fetching the value. Okay, now from the main function what we are doing, I have just created a generic class. So first is a I have created based on integer, so at least what it will do, and second object I have created a string based. So now integer container we are able to add an integer type of things here, and we can fetch also, and the second one we are able to fetching we are passing a string type of thing, right? So now you can see this single class and single methods are able to handle a different type of data types. So let me run it and we'll see that what is the output here. Okay, so now you can see the integer values and string value. Awesome. Okay, fine. So this is what all about the generics class and generic methods. Okay, now we are going to learn about one more concept, that is called a class. So most of, maybe you would have observed actually that sometimes you pass uh, one parameter, that is a type, one type is there, that is a class. Okay, and we pass as a parameters, okay, into the methods. What it is actually, so most of the time, suppose that if we know that we are not going to pass any primitive data types, we are so this will ensures that in this class generic factory we are going to pass any instance type of any class instance only we are going to pass. Okay, we are not going to pass an integer value, no string, nothing, only class instances we are going to pass. So that's why just very, you can say that we have restricted actually this method, only we can only pass the class type. Okay, not other than that. Okay, okay, so now let me tell you what this class is doing actually. So this is a generic factory class. Okay, and here we are, this generic what is the function of this generic factory class? It will create an instance of any class. Okay, whatever will pass the class, right, it will create an instance of that object, it will create an instance of that class. That is a this is a function of this generic factory. Generally earlier, if you are not doing generics, then what we'll do, we will pass that, okay, what type of class object we want to create, and maybe we will use some if else statement, we'll compare it, and then we'll use a new operator, and then we'll create it, like, right, or maybe switch cases we'll use. But here, see, the beauty of this class is so very, the code has become very short. Okay, not very lengthy code we are writing. Okay, so it's a, okay, and it's kind of a readable code. Okay, so this generic factory, again I'm declaring a type of t, we can pass any type. Now here the class of null, and the constructor we are passing only the class only, we can only pass a class, type of class only. Okay, okay, this, now what we are doing, that we have created a methods. What we are doing in this methods, we are creating the instance of the type, whatever we pass, the class type whatever you are passing, it will create a, so this new instance, this is kind of reflections we are using here. One more concept is there, using that at runtime we can create a instance of any class. And oh, this is one more method, this is the means the objective is different here. Why I have just taken example of, so this, in this method read, you can say maybe I am passing the one class type, one string SQL, you can say the query. The objective is maybe sometimes we create like if you are creating any DB utility where right, we need to we need to create some such utility that we should able to fetch data from, read data from any type of database, right, a SQL connections, NoSQL or MySQL servers, Oracle. Okay, so generally what will happen, we need to pass the specific SQL connection classifier, then we need to create so many methods, read methods, just based on just type only. But if we create a very generic type of class, we can, in the same method only we can pass that SQL connection or Oracle DB connections, we can pass it, because all are classes only, right. So we can, if we declare the class, in the same method only we can pass any type of DB connection classes, and inside that we can create instance of that classes, and we can continue our work. Okay, so hope you got it, what I mean. Okay, so I didn't created this read class for SQL Server database separately, Oracle database separately, okay, MySQL separately. No, this single will only serve that purpose. So okay, so now we are going to call that. Okay, how we can execute. So here this generic factory, in generic drivers. Okay, I've created an instance of this generic factory, and what I'm passing, I wants to create an instance of driver. So here I've just created a one driver class. Okay, and I just wanted to create a instance of that driver. Okay, and anyway, so once, so this will, once you execute it, it will create an instance of a generic factory. Okay, nothing else. Okay, because I haven't declared any instance variable or anything. But when you run it, it will simply execute it. And once you will debug it, you will able to see that the class instance, driver class instance has been created. Okay, so this is what all about I wanted to tell you this, what is the class type, okay, and how it is important. The next things we are going to learn about the I will tell you some constants into the generics, and then we'll discuss uh, about the wild what is a wild character in the generics, okay, how can we use it, okay. So the few constants, I think you can read it out, that we cannot instantiate generic type with primitive types. So primitive data types we cannot use, okay, for generics. Can't create instance of type parameters, can't declare static fields. Static fields we cannot do, okay. And then we cannot create huge cast or instance with parameterized types, cannot create arrays of parameterized types, that also is one constraints, okay. And in exception handling, in catch block we cannot use t, or even throw blocks we cannot throw type of t, okay. We need to use a specific object only, okay, very, okay. So we cannot do some generalization here, that we can throw any type of t, okay. So that is a constant here. So that is all about the constants here. The next things we are going to, so most important is that what I wanted to tell you, that is when we in what scenarios we use is this question mark extents of t and super of t, okay. So so generally we uses when we wants to restrict the user actually, okay. So we wants that user should only pass, okay, in a particular method only the subtype of only any classes, or super type of only other classes, okay. Okay, we don't want to give the privilege that he can pass anything, any type of class or objects into that method, okay. So when you want to restrict it, we need to use such wildcard here, okay. So just I'm going to read that. We face situation where we have to pass subtype of a class as an argument in a method for a specific purpose. In these cases we have to use concepts like a covariance, okay, or contravariance. So now we'll discuss where do you use. So use this question mark extends t wildcard if you need to retrieve an object of t of type t from a collections, means retrieving subtype of t, okay. So you have a collections and you just want to retrieve a type of t, okay, a subtype of t object from that collections, that time you can use this extends one. Super we use when you wants to store a type of t into any collections, that time will go, okay. And so if you need to satisfy both things, if you want both thing in the collections, then no need to use the wildcards, we can simply use the type t, okay, and that will serve a both purpose, okay. In short, if you wants to remember where exactly the extents and super should be used, I think just keep remember these things. PECS means producer extents, okay, means producer in the sense where we are retrieving the value, and consumer where we are adding some value, that time we can use a super, okay. So now let's go to the example, okay. Not now, thanks. Let's see the example and then we understand, okay. See here what I have do. So here if we are going to understand about the extents, right. So before going that, I just wanted to show you some model here. I have created a vehicle, that is, you can say, the base class. Vehicle will be extended by this car, okay, and this again car is extended by the BMW. Two-wheeler and extended by the vehicle type, okay. So now we understand what is our inheritance EIJ relation between the different classes, okay. Now we'll go to this wildcard here, and see here. So first what I've done, I have created one method, that is a vehicle processing, okay, and list of extends vehicle. So as I've told you that if you're using extend means we are retrieving the data from the collection, okay. So this collections is a type of vehicle, so we can extract all the vehicle information, all the subtype of vehicle inside this element, okay. Other than that, it's not going to work, okay. So you can see the elements of the vehicle car, and it will show here. So let me run it, and vehicle processing, wait, I'll comment the next one, okay. Let me run it. Do you want to debug it? We'll debug it. fast. It's very slow. Okay, I'm going to debug it. Fat, I'm just adding. Okay, list of a vehicle, and now I will go to this class. See here. Now what is how many elements are there? This is a size of 4. Okay, anyway there is no field, so now it is going to print out all this, right? So it's going to print all this, right? BMW car, vehicles, printer. What if I wants to add here, will it allow to add any like driver if I wants to add, right? Let's try with the driver. Driver, will it allow? No, it won't allow, right? That is not a subtype of, right? So just will remove it. Okay, now let's check with the super one, right? So what is a super one? Super one only allowed to add a subclass of vehicles. Okay, so this is the type of car. Okay, I want all the subtype of T itself and its subtype. Okay, so we can, here you can say I've just created a one, so we can just add it here. This is done. Okay, so let me debug first. I think that okay, list of car. Okay, fine. Now we will go inside, so you can say we are able to add a subtype. Okay, and here, okay, so here this wildcard character, what is the main purpose, is that we are just restricting other data types. Okay, we are not allowing that others, only subtypes are allowed. Okay, other than that is not allowed. Okay, so that what it means actually. Suppose that if I'm trying to add we'll try to add something else. What will try? Okay, so we'll try to add vehicle only. Let's see what will happen. Will it allow? It's not allowing the vehicle. Wait, sorry. Okay, what about the vehicle? That is a parent class, right? Okay, does it allow? No, it's not allowing. Okay, why? Because it's only allowed the type and their subtypes. Okay, so car, BMW. Okay, now if we change to vehicle, then it will allow the vehicle and again its subtypes, even though it will allow to the two-wheeler also. Okay, if we'll change here vehicle here, okay, then it will allow the vehicle itself, and it will allow BMW, car, two-wheeler and vehicle all four. Okay, so hope it is clear. So only it will allow, it won't allow the parent one. Okay, so yeah, so this is what is all about the this is what are all about the wildcard in the generics. Okay, so yeah, that's it what I had for the generics. Okay, and yeah, thank you, thanks everyone for just watching this video, and let me know if you have any feedback. Yeah, thank you very much.